Our childhood memories often revolve around school friends and late-night cartoon marathons. Cartoons in particular left an indelible mark on our youth. We pick our favorite characters as role models and form strong attachments. Even as adults, we sometimes revisit these beloved shows. However, as kids, we were unaware that some of our cherished characters had roots in real-life events and people. Were we ever told their true stories? Did reality match the cheerful cartoon versions? Let's explore one such tale today. Let's take a nostalgic journey back to a widely popular and beloved cartoon, Anastasia. But before we start, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you like these types of storytelling videos. The story kicks off in 1916 in Russia. Anastasia, a duchess, celebrates with her royal family at the palace. She's the belle of the ball until sadness strikes as she recalls her grandmother's impending departure for Paris. Her grandmother gives her a medallion, a token to keep her close. Anastasia's joy is short-lived when an evil wizard, harboring a grudge against the imperial family, arrives to wreak havoc. He casts a curse on the palace, vowing to destroy the entire family. The grandmother escapes by train but is unable to save Anastasia. Miraculously, Duchess Anastasia manages to flee, her fate unknown. A decade later, a man named Dmitri encounters an amnesiac orphan girl named Anya. Her striking resemblance to Anastasia leads them to believe she's the missing duchess. With Dmitri's help, she reunites with her grandmother at the palace after her return from Paris. They defeat the evil wizard, breaking the curse. The story concludes with Anastasia and Dmitri's marriage and their happily ever after in the palace. Now, let's set aside the cartoon and delve into the real story of Anastasia. Was there truly a Duchess Anastasia? Did her life mirror the animated tale? Let's find out. Our story unfolds in the palace of the Russian imperial family, the Romanovs. The family comprised Nicholas II, the father, Alexandra, the mother, 4 daughters, Olga, Tatiana, Maria, and Anastasia, 1 son, Alexei, the youngest. Anastasia, the youngest duchess, was a key figure. Known for her fun-loving and mischievous nature, she brought laughter to the palace with her acting skills and pranks. While she created a pleasant atmosphere, she was also stubborn and quite naughty. The family lived peacefully until the young prince fell gravely ill, suffering from an internal brain hemorrhage that worsened daily. Desperate to save Alexei, the family sought a skilled doctor or healer. They learned of a simple farmer named Rasputin, revered as holy in his town for his healing abilities. Known as the monk doctor, he was said to heal people spiritually, possessing great curative powers. Upon hearing this, the imperial family promptly invited Rasputin to the palace. He treated Alexei, who was on death's doorstep. Impressed by the results, Emperor Nicholas and his wife believed Rasputin to be a saint with extraordinary powers. They invited him to stay at the palace, where he remained for 7 years. During this time, Rasputin became a close advisor to the emperor and empress, even influencing important decisions. His influence was so strong that no one dared oppose him. The Romanovs' rule was considered the most powerful in Russian history, spanning 3 centuries until Nicholas II. But as the saying goes, nothing lasts forever. Post-World War I, Russia underwent significant changes. Opposition to the ruling family grew, leading to numerous conspiracies against the emperor. This culminated in the Bolshevik or October Revolution, aimed at overthrowing the rulers. Surprisingly, Rasputin, the monk doctor, played a crucial role in this revolution. Shockingly, Rasputin wasn't the pious man everyone thought. Despite his saintly reputation, his misdeeds went unnoticed by many. Rumors suggested he made patients perform immoral acts under the guise of healing. He allegedly had multiple illicit affairs, claiming divine revelation. Most dangerously, Rasputin had near total control over the family's rule, making most of their decisions. A group of citizens, along with the emperor's cousin, plotted to kill the monk. They believed he was steering Russia towards an uncertain fate, seeking to rule while they wanted to maintain the Romanovs' reign. On November 19, 1916, Rasputin was invited to dine with a beautiful lady at the palace. Unaware it was a ploy to poison him. Rasputin drank the poison but showed no symptoms. Shocked, one of the plotters shot him in the stomach. Astonishingly, after falling and bleeding, Rasputin opened his eyes, stood up, and attacked his assailant. Terrified and believing him invulnerable, the plotters all drew their guns and shot him repeatedly until he died. They then dumped his body in the sea. Eerily, someone reportedly heard Rasputin muttering strange words as he died, suspecting he was casting a spell or curse. Even more chilling, 23 days before his death, Rasputin had predicted his demise in a letter to the emperor. "If your relatives killed me, not a single member of your family would survive. For more than 2 years, the Russian people would kill them all. I will be killed. I will cease to exist. Please pray, and be strong. and think of your beloved family. After Rasputin's death, the imperial family was overjoyed, but farmers and some common folk viewed Rasputin as a martyr and his killers as criminals. Soon after, Rasputin's prophecy began to unfold. As mentioned earlier, the Bolshevik Revolution forced the emperor to abdicate in March 1917. The imperial family was exiled to a remote house under constant surveillance, where they remained for almost a year. On July 17, 1918, guards asked the family to go to the basement for a family photo, ostensibly to calm the public. Unaware of the trap, the family prepared and descended. The commander entered with orders to execute the emperor and his family. The joyful family moment quickly turned into one of terror and farewells. Bolshevik soldiers entered with guns, shooting the entire family, including their maids and doctor. Everyone in the basement was killed. The bodies were then taken to a distant forest and burned to hide the evidence. Although the incident was meant to be secret, some drunken soldiers revealed it, and the Russian people learned of the Romanov family's execution. About 2 years later, when everyone believed the entire family had perished, shocking news spread. 2 men confessed to helping move the bodies to the forest, claiming that while transferring them from the truck, they discovered Duchess Anastasia was still alive, albeit severely injured. Anastasia was in great pain from a head injury. The men, feeling sympathy, secretly wrapped her in cloth, took her to a small house on a plain, and left her there before quickly returning to the forest. This news spread rapidly, leaving people wondering if it was true. Could the Duchess really be alive? Many newspapers published the story, and Russians launched a widespread search for Anastasia. According to legend, a man named Rudolph claimed to have seen Anastasia and placed her in an orphanage. A doctor also said he treated a girl claiming to be Anastasia, the emperor's daughter, writing the prescription under the name Anya as ordered by the secret police. As often happens in such cases, many frauds emerged to exploit the situation. Some even claimed to have seen and spoken with the entire family alive. The situation became confusing, making it hard to distinguish truth from lies. The public's focus on Anastasia stemmed from the soldiers' claims that she survived and they saved her. Question now was, if Anastasia was alive, where was she? Amidst numerous frauds claiming to be her, a woman named Eugenia Smith appeared in the media, declaring herself the missing Duchess Anastasia. Eugenia presented extensive evidence to prove her identity, shocking Russians with accurate details about life in the palace and the Romanov family. Eugenia claimed she was rescued by 2 men, including a soldier named Alexander, who helped her escape Russia to hide from other soldiers who might kill her if they discovered she was alive. Eugenia wrote detailed diaries about her life in the palace, which a journalist helped publish. When an emperor's relative heard about her and invited her to meet, she declined. This strange behavior made people doubt her and accuse her of lying. Like previous frauds, Eugenia then requested a lie detector test to prove her honesty, which she passed. Years later, a journalist investigating the case found Eugenia's birth certificate, showing she was born in 1899, while Anastasia was born in 1901. This revelation exposed Eugenia as a fraud. In 1933 in Germany, a young woman attempted suicide by jumping into a river. She was rescued and taken to a hospital, where she woke up with amnesia, unable to remember her family or identity. Unable to contact her family or learn anything about her, doctors had no choice but to send her to a shelter, naming her the Unknown Girl. This woman intrigued many, with some suspecting royal descent due to her naturally elegant, princess-like behavior. Some people told her this, but she denied it, saying it was impossible. Strangely, she had gunshot marks on her body, reminiscent of Anastasia. People noticed a striking resemblance between her and Anastasia in every way: earrings, eyes, appearance, face shape, and nose. They decided to call her Anna Anderson, with Anna being short for Anastasia. A police officer named Nicholas Schwab heard about Anna and visited her. He showed her a photograph of Anastasia's grandmother, who was still alive then, but Anna said she didn't remember her. After the visit, Anna asked the nurses, "How does that man have my grandmother's photo?" Days later, Anna began recalling details about the Romanov family. She started talking about her previous life in the imperial palace, her family's assassination, and her escape. Anna eventually claimed she was the escaped Duchess Anastasia. She regained her memory and began telling her story of how a soldier saved and smuggled her to Germany. Anna showed signs of missing her family. When one of Anastasia's relatives heard about Anna, they immediately invited her to meet. Anna met with 12 family members. Some were astounded by her striking resemblance to Anastasia, feeling certain she was genuine. Others were skeptical, arguing that her Russian wasn't fluent, while Anastasia, as a duchess, was fluent in several languages. Although Anna knew several languages, she didn't speak them as fluently as Anastasia had. The situation became complex. Believers argued that her traumas and health issues could explain memory imperfections. Anastasia's grandmother, however, had lost hope and refused to believe, insisting her granddaughter had died with the rest of the family. Anna persisted in claiming to be the Duchess and began a legal battle to prove her lineage. She spent her entire life trying to prove this. Most people, including some family members, believed Anna. The grandmother remained unconvinced, especially after the court determined there was insufficient evidence to prove the case. Anna's story became widely known, with newspapers publishing her photos and declaring that Duchess Anastasia had been found. Her story inspired the cartoon film Anastasia, which portrayed Anastasia's long search for her family and eventual reunion. However, Anna's real-life story differed in that she couldn't prove she was Anastasia when she returned to her family. Anna passed away in 1984, and her body was cremated before her mystery could be solved. In 1991, 7 years after Anna's death, the Romanov family's bodies were discovered, and an order was issued to exhume and examine them. If Anastasia had truly died, they'd find her body. If not, it would mean she had escaped and lived her life, possibly as Anna. The bodies were exhumed and, despite being burned, could still be identified using DNA. 9 family members were identified, with 2 missing. The missing bodies were those of Anastasia and her younger brother Alexei. In 1995, due to advancements in science and examination methods, Anna and Anastasia's facial features and skull shapes were compared in photos, with results confirming a match. It would have been tragic if Duchess Anastasia had been alive for years, returned to her family, only for no one to believe her, and died wrong. It would have been a very sad feeling for her. However, DNA analysis revealed that Anna was actually the daughter of a missing Polish miner with a history of mental illness and multiple suicide attempts. She had been in and out of psychiatric hospitals regularly and had managed to deceive many people into thinking she was Duchess Anastasia, possibly longing for the inheritance. Anna was one of the most prominent imposters in this case. Years passed until 2007, when a Russian construction worker discovered 2 burned bodies in a forest. After a year, these bodies were identified as belonging to Duchess Anastasia and her brother Alexei, the 2 missing bodies. This discovery put an end to all rumors and exposed imposters, confirming that the Duchess was, sadly, a victim who was killed. Nobody could explain why Anastasia and Alexei's bodies were so far from their families. It's possible they managed to flee but were captured and killed by Bolshevik fighters. This was the real and tragic conclusion to Duchess Anastasia's story. We hoped for a happy ending, like in the cartoon film, but sadly, this was what actually happened. This is the end of the real story of Duchess Anastasia. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more suspicious stories and cases like this. You can also comment on what story you would like me to talk about in the future. I hope you have a good night.